Hello and welcome to your data-driven dashboard, the easiest, most simple way to see all of your offline and online data at a glance. In this series of videos, you will learn how to build a solid foundation for any company that wants to double their business growth in the next year or two. These are fundamental principles that, when applied properly, will become the solid foundation for your company's marketing and sales for years and years to come. Not only will you have a solid foundation, but whoever you bring on board or hire as your future marketing consultants will be able to easily understand everything from stem to stern. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, this video series will have something for everyone laid out in a simple format for all to follow. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, throughout this series of videos, we'll be going over naming conventions and system standards, Facebook and Google tracking codes, tracking digital marketing efforts, lead score and sourcing, heat maps, and funnel follow-up. And a lot more of this is going to come, so the first thing we will need to do is understand the naming convention and the standard. Now, the purpose of having a naming standard is so that you can focus on more important issues than the naming standard, and to review significant reporting tools for data optimization. What I mean by this is you will be able to understand your marketing data more easily because the naming standard is flush along all lines. I'll go over this in a few minutes, but I want you to know that the main purpose of the naming standard is to reduce the effort and creative energy it takes to read and understand your marketing efforts. In other words, rather than trying to always figure out what's going on, you will know. You'll understand this better in a moment, okay? So just hang on. Now, I'm going to go over the file naming convention, and this is a framework designed to name your systems in a way that describes what they contain and how they relate to processes. This goes for all data. What I mean by this is the naming convention is a set of rules for choosing the character sequence to be used for identifiers which denote variables, variable types, functions, and other entities. It's much like keeping folders in a file cabinet. Hold on a second. I know it's getting complicated. I'm going to make it easier. Now, the way that this appears, I know it's confusing, but I just want you to think of the Dewey Decimal System, all right? That is a classic example of concepts that form the relative index and location of books. So the Dewey Decimal System created a way for new books to be added to the library in their appropriate location based on subject and not alphabetical order. Capiche? So what I'm trying to say is this way you will not have to have a bunch of books moved when a new one comes on board, but all you do is you put it in that area. So this is the religious area. This is drama. This is fiction. This is nonfiction. You go over to that area of the library and you'll be able to find your book. Okay? So I'm going to make this a little bit more simple. Let's see. The best example I can give you that you can really relate to is that of a file cabinet. So I'm sure as a business owner, you have a file cabinet somewhere in your home or in your office, right? And you probably have multiple drawers in the cabinet, and the drawers have multiple green hanging holders, and the hanging holders have manila folders in them. And when you get right down to it, those folders have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in it, right? And those have titles on them. And if you're like me, you have systematized your file cabinet so you can ask your assistant for a specific file, and your assistant will know exactly where they go, okay? And that is the naming convention of your file cabinet. Make sense? Okay, now this is how simple it is to create a foundation for your marketing efforts. Now, people always ask me, what is the difference between the naming standard and the naming convention? Well, to sum it up, the difference between the naming standard and the naming convention is the naming standard reduces the stress of your marketing efforts, so you don't need to figure out what to name things. That's your file cabinet. And the naming convention brings clarity to everything marketing. I'm going to go over more of this in a second, okay? So the standard makes it so you don't have to figure out what to name things as you move forward. And the convention allows your brain to understand any given marketing material at a glance. For instance, you will understand your marketing material not so much by the image, video, or PDF, but by the name of the image, video, or PDF. Okay, let me explain. Let's say you wrote a book called Write, Publish, Repeat, and you want to make a website for it. The first thing you would do is purchase a domain for your website. So what would you name this website? Well, you would name it writepublishrepeat.com, right? But then you need to generate some leads. So once you capture an email, you want a page number or two to show up, and you want to have clarity in your marketing. So you would do something like this on page 2. Now you can see the web page name is the same, writepublishrepeat.com, but the thank you page has a different URL, which has the name of the book and a TY at the end of it. So we know this is the thank you page. Do you now see what the naming convention is and why it is important? Okay, I hope this clears things up. Now we're going to go into part 2 in a second, but the purpose of everything we do as a digital marketer is so that the next person can understand what we did in our marketing. And one of the main purposes of growing a small business is to leave behind a legacy. So we want to be able to either sell our business or transfer it to our children and their heirs with the most simple means as possible. The right naming system makes this possible. This is shown. Stay tuned for part 2. In part 2 of this series, we're not only going to learn what a lead magnet is, but we're going to have a better understanding of what it is used for and how to verify the quality of the lead magnet and how to get it to convert. We will also learn how to apply the naming conventions to your website navbar, the URLs, and the funnel URLs, as well as Facebook and Google Ads. This will include the video, image names, and the URLs. I know all that sounds complicated. I said URL a lot. So stay with me here, okay? The first thing we're going to go over is we're going to look at Google and Facebook naming conventions. The way that Google purchased it, and it's their convention, but everybody else followed it like Facebook. So we're going to go over their naming conventions so you got to get a better understanding of how to do your Facebook ads, okay? Hey, welcome to part 2 of the data-driven dashboard. We are going to go over the Urchin tracking module, and we're going to discuss tracking unique website visitors using Google's patent-pending Urchin Traffic Monitor, or UTM, and it's a link. Now, this link looks a lot like this, and I'm going to show you an example of it right now. Okay, so I'm sure you've been on Facebook before, and one thing that a lot of people don't really realize is this link up here. So right here, this says facebook.com, and I'm going to click on this link. So someone's doing Facebook marketing. I'm glad it's a lead page. I like lead pages. ClickFunnels is nice too. And they're talking about Drip, this email course that they have. And they have a link right here. I can click on this link and let's see where it goes. So when I click on that, they're taking me out of Facebook and they're taking me to something to where they can capture my email. So I can join for free and get the course. But if you notice up here, it has this question mark and it has all of this code afterwards. This is what we're going to be designing. So you're going to learn how to track your marketing efforts on the internet just like the pros. Okay, so we're actually going to make one of these, and I'm going to show you how to make it within 30 seconds. But first of all, we're going to break this link down. Okay, now that we know where that link is going to be, it's going to be in an ad. And when we click on the ad, it goes to the website. We're going to show you how to do that. But first, we need to know the various parts of the link that are required and other parts that help us develop a better understanding of how we're marketing campaigns and how our marketing campaigns are performing. Now, remember that naming system we went over? Well, now you're going to see why that is so important. There are 5 main parts to these links, and we're going to break them all down to a simple understanding so you can build your own. Now, the 5 parts of the links are campaign source, campaign medium, campaign name, campaign term, and campaign content. Now, the campaign source is used to identify where your future clients came from. In other words, where were they on the internet when they clicked? We are going to keep it simple and either use Facebook or Google when making our link. But I am going to show you some examples of different areas of the internet that you might put a link that your future prospects and clients may come from. So some examples of a campaign source would be Facebook, Google, maybe LinkedIn, maybe an e-commerce or Twitter or YouTube. You could use these links all over the place. We're going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to show you how to make one in less than 30 seconds. But just know that link that we're going to be creating, it can be driven from all these various sources. Okay, the next part is the campaign medium, and it's going to be the process you used, such as pay-per-click, SEO, or maybe an email. If you're used to making these, I don't have to go into details, but for simplicity purposes, we're going to use PPC or pay-per-click in our example. So if you're new to driving traffic, you will want to start with this process because it's easiest, and even a caveman can do it, okay? So we're going to use PPC or pay-per-click. Now, here's some examples of different types of mediums you can use. You can use PPC, you can use social media, you can use a banner ad, maybe a lead magnet. You might want to do some type of video or an image. All these different things are going to be mediums that you use. The next thing we're going to go over is the campaign name, and this can be used for certain types of campaigns such as Black Friday, Summer Sizzler, any type of holiday, anything you want, but I'm going to show you the way we use them, okay? The way we use them is for launching a lead magnet. So the LM right here stands for lead magnet, so maybe we're driving them, maybe our lead magnet is on Amazon, or maybe it's a video series or an ebook. Okay, so there's going to be different types of examples and different types of lead magnets that you're using. So this is the way we're using the campaign name. It can be used different various ways. This is just the way we're using it. The next thing is the campaign term, and this is going to be used with any keywords you use. Now, this is not mandatory for newbies, but you can have hundreds of variations when it comes to your links. So you may want to keep this extremely simple in the beginning, okay? So notice the plus sign in the link. So this plus sign right here, this lets your brain wrap around when you're looking at the link that this is actually, these are keywords, connecting keywords. So I like putting a little plus sign there so that I know those are keywords when I'm looking at the link. And it just lets your eye see these immediately. So I'm going to show you how I use underscores for the UTMs. I use plus signs, and then I use dashes, or what you might call hyphens, for another part of the link, okay? And that's going to come up here. Now the campaign content, again, it's used for A/B testing, a way to differentiate ads. It might be a logo or a text link. And then the next thing we're going to go over is some examples. So notice here, this is where I'm using the hyphen or the dash. So in the content, you might have a campaign in Infusionsoft that you want to put in there so you know which campaign is kicking off. You might have a Facebook group, or there might be a certain headline that you're using somewhere, and the headline will let you know what that particular link is for. Remember, there could be hundreds of these links. Okay, now that we broke that down into 5 different sections of source, medium, name, term, and content, we're going to manually make a link. And then I'm going to show you how to make that link in 30 seconds. So this is going to be great. So right now I can see that I have my campaign source, medium, name, term, and content. And right here I put what I need to use in this URL or in this link. So the first thing I'm going to type out is I'm going to type data-driven dashboard.com. So that would have to be a real website. And then I'm going to make a forward slash and a question mark, which means we're starting the sequence for the custom link. We're going to go UTM underscore source. So you can see right here in the red, I have what I'm going to put in the link at my beck and call. I'm going to make an equal sign, and what we're going to do is we're going to run a Facebook ad. Then I'm going to make an ampersand to go to the next part of the URL, which is going to be the medium, which you can see right here. So I'm going to type UTM underscore medium, and the medium is going to equal PPC for pay-per-click. Then I'm going to make another ampersand, and I'm going to say UTM, and I'm going to do the campaign. And what the campaign is going to be is Black Friday. So I'm going to launch this on Black Friday. Now I'm making a hyphen right here to separate it. I'm using an underscore for the UTMs. I'm using a hyphen or a dash for the my custom information. Now I'm going to make another ampersand, and then I'm going to say UTM underscore, and then the term. Now remember, the term is going to be my my keywords. So right here, I'm going to use the word right, and then I'm going to use a hyphen, and then I'm going to say publish, and those are going to be my keywords. And I'm going to use write and publish as my keywords. So you can see the naming standard going down right now. Okay, that's why it's so important. Now I know that I said use a plus sign there, but I'm going to keep it simple right now because you're going to use this automatically. You're not going to do it manually the way I'm doing it. So I made a little dash right there. The next thing I need to do is the content. So I'm going to make another ampersand, and right here you can see content. So I'm going to type UTM underscore content, and the content is going to equal, and I'm going to make a video, and the video is going to be for the book that I'm selling for write, publish, and repeat. So I know that this is a video for the book I called Write, Publish, and Repeat. So I wrote a book called Write, Publish, and Repeat, and I am driving the link to a video sales page. Now I'm also going to send this out on October 3rd of 2017 because that's my birthday. And now I just manually made this link. So it looks pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'm going to show you how to do that manually. So we're going to go into our browser here, and we're going to type Facebook space UTM. Hit enter, and the top one will say Google Analytics URL Builder Facebook. So notice it's on Facebook, but it is a Google Analytics Builder. I'm going to go in there. So the first thing I need to do is I need to put my website. So my website is Data Driven Dashboard. Now right here, I used FB for my campaign source. For my medium, we're going to drive the traffic with pay-per-click or PPC. I already did this, so it's just dropping down. I'm doing it on a Black Friday, so that's what I'm going to name the campaign. I'm going to go book hyphen, no, I'm actually using write and then publish. As my keywords. And right here, I'm using video, and it's going to be write, publish, repeat. So we're going to go back. We're going to look at my my little custom thing right here. So I had write and publish for my term. Let's go back here and make sure it says write and publish for my term. Now, when you type Facebook UTM, you're going to come up with that link that I showed you. You can go back in the video to see how to do this. You're going to come up with this. You're just going to put all your data in here. It's literally going to take you 30 seconds. You click there, look, it just made the link for you. Now I can copy that link over to here, and when I paste it in here, you will see that it is the exact same thing that we have up here. So you can make this yourself. So this is why the naming convention is so important. When I look at this link, I know it's going for my book that I wrote called Write, Publish, Repeat. I know that it's a video. I'm driving traffic to a video. I know that I'm running this on Black Friday. Okay, I know that it's going to be launched on my birthday. Now that's not really Black Friday, but I'm just saying, I want you to remember my birthday, so you mail me stuff. And then it's going to be a pay-per-click, so I could do SEO or whatever. And this is a Facebook. Okay, so that's how easy it is to do Facebook marketing and get clarity with a naming system and a naming standard using Facebook and Google Ads. So stay tuned, we have more to come.